Who's doing the actual work? Everyone on your feed is desperately trying to sell you the ultimate dream of making money while you sleep. But here is a wild reality check. Only about 20% of United States households actually earn passive income from things like dividends or rental properties. Meanwhile, nearly 70% of the total workforce consists of essential workers whose jobs demand intense, physical presence every single day. If our entire generation is busy trying to escape the daily grind, who is actually left to keep the world running? Hey friends, Hazel here. Today, we are diving into the massive illusion behind the internet's favorite financial buzzword. It turns out, behind every so-called automated empire, there is a massive hidden layer of exhausting human labor. We are going to look at the invisible gig workers powering the system and ask the uncomfortable question. Is a fully passive economy even possible, or are we just shifting the heavy lifting onto someone else? 1. The passive income illusion. Nearly 90% of dropshipping businesses fail within their first 30 days. Why? Because the internet promised them a magical money machine, but delivered a brutal, full-time retail job instead. Scroll through any social media feed, and you will see the exact same pitch. Build an automated store, run some ads, sip a coconut on a beach in Bali, and let the internet do the heavy lifting. But here is the dirty little secret of the passive income hustle. It is not passive at all. It is just highly competitive, fiercely active freelance labor wearing a very clever disguise. Let us look at dropshipping. The gurus say you just connect a foreign supplier to a local beer and pocket the difference. But what does the day-to-day actually look like? You are a one-person customer service department dealing with furious emails about delayed packages. You are frantically tweaking ad budgets at 2 in the morning because a platform update tanked your reach. You are not a hands-off investor making money in your sleep. You are an underpaid, overstressed digital middleman running a logistics company from your laptop. The same harsh reality applies to selling online courses or digital content. The pitch sounds flawless. Record a masterclass once, set up an automated sales funnel, and sell it forever. But the digital landscape demands constant feeding. If you do not actively market your course every single day, film fresh promotional videos, and desperately fight for algorithmic attention, your sales drop to zero. That is not a passive stream of revenue. That is a high-speed treadmill. Right now, over 50% of Gen Z and millennials report having a side hustle. We have practically rebranded exhaustion. But let us call it what it really is. A side hustle is just a second job with better marketing and zero health benefits. The entire concept of passive income has been completely hijacked by internet marketers. Historically, it meant collecting dividends from a massive stock portfolio or collecting rent from a commercial building. But true passive income requires one major, unavoidable ingredient that most young people simply do not have: massive upfront capital. Here is a reality check. About 89% of all United States stocks are owned by the wealthiest 10% of Americans. The people actually earning money while they sleep are the ones who were already wealthy when they went to bed. For everyone else, the modern passive dream is just a frantic race to build a demanding digital business from scratch. And ironically, the people making the most reliable money from this trend are the influencers who are actively working every single day to sell you a $2,000 course and how to be passive. They are just selling you shovels during a gold rush. So, if the ultimate digital hustle is actually just exhausting, active labor in disguise, it begs a much bigger question. If our entire generation is desperately trying to automate their way out of working, who is physically moving the boxes, delivering the food, and keeping the servers running? 2. The invisible supply chain. The moment you click checkout on a beautifully automated e-commerce store, a digital notification pings in a concrete warehouse thousands of miles away. You might be making passive income in your sleep, but someone else just got handed a night shift. We love to celebrate the genius founders who build platforms that seemingly run themselves. But there is no such thing as a truly autonomous business. There is only displaced labor. Displaced labor is the uncomfortable truth at the heart of the modern passive income dream. It means the physical exertion required to make money has not vanished. It has just been pushed out of your sightline and off your payroll. Think about the ultimate automated empires of today, the gig economy apps. Right now, the United States gig economy has expanded to over 60 million workers. These are the people performing the grueling, on-demand manual labor required to keep those sleek tech platforms functioning. While the software scales effortlessly, the physical delivery of the product absolutely does not. Take dropshipping or fulfillment by Amazon, the crown jewels of passive income tutorials. The pitch is that logistics are handled for you. But handled for you just means a warehouse packer is sprinting across a concrete floor to meet a brutal quota. A delivery driver is skipping their lunch break, parallel parking a massive van on a busy city street and hauling heavy cardboard boxes up 3 flights of stairs in the rain. Your income is only passive because their labor is relentlessly active. But what about traditional passive income, like real estate? Surely collecting rent is completely hands-off once you own the property. Well, only for the owner. Buildings do not maintain themselves. A rental property generates passive cash flow entirely by relying on an army of blue-collar workers. Someone has to fix the burst pipe on Thanksgiving. Property managers have to handle furious tenant disputes, deal with evictions, and coordinate with roofers working in 90-degree heat. The passive investor's return on investment is fundamentally tied to the sweat of tradespeople who sell their time and physical health for an hourly wage. Even the cleanest, most sophisticated form of passive income, the stock market, operates on the exact same principle. When you buy shares in an index fund, you do not have to do a single minute of actual labor. You just watch the numbers go up. But those climbing numbers represent real-world corporate profits. And those profits are generated by millions of everyday employees grinding out 9-to-5 jobs. The dividends paid out to sleepy shareholders are funded by mid-level managers enduring endless meetings, software engineers debugging code at 2 in the morning, and retail workers dealing with angry customers. Every single dollar of passive income originates from a point of active, often exhausting, friction. Without the massive underlying engine of people trading their finite time and energy for a paycheck, the entire passive economy would instantly collapse. We have created a two-tiered financial system. In the top tier, money goes to work so you do not have to. But in the bottom tier, human beings are working harder than ever to generate the very returns the top tier is collecting. This is the paradox of our generation's obsession with automation and escaping the rat race. We are not actually eliminating the daily grind at all. We are just collectively trying to buy our way into the managerial class, hoping to stand on the shoulders of an invisible, working-class supply chain. But if the ultimate goal of the modern economy is for everyone to eventually become a passive investor, the math hits a terrifying brick wall. You cannot have a pyramid made entirely out of capstones. 3. The capital versus wage trap. Let's look at the brutal math behind escaping the rat race. To make a modest $50,000 a year in truly passive stock dividends, you don't just need a positive mindset. You need well over $1 million in cold, hard cash sitting in the market right now. That's the massive, unspoken barrier protecting the passive income club. It takes an enormous pile of upfront capital to buy your way out of the labor pool. And for the vast majority of people, generating that initial seed money means trading decades of their life for an hourly wage. But here's where the trap snaps shut. Inflation acts like a relentless, invisible treadmill. As the cost of rent, groceries, and healthcare keeps climbing every single year, the financial threshold to actually live purely on passive income moves further and further out of reach. So, instead of saving enough capital to finally escape, most everyday people are forced to just keep working harder simply to break even. This intense economic pressure cooker is exactly why society will never, ever run out of workers. The entire global system requires a permanent, massive base of wage earners who have absolutely no choice but to show up on Monday morning. Think about it. If everyone magically gained enough capital to retire at 30, our currency would become instantly worthless. There would be literally nobody left to bake the bread, purify the water, or pave the roads. This is why trying to skip the capital phase by launching a cheap digital business is so brutally hard. Remember those automated e-commerce stores the internet loves to hype up? The reality is that nearly 90% of dropshipping businesses fail within their very first month. Why? Because without massive capital to dump into advertising, you have to compensate by doing all the grueling, frantic, active labor yourself. True wealth can't simply be created out of thin air. It's transferred. When investors successfully automate their income, they're effectively just buying time. But the time they're buying belongs entirely to the millions of people who can't afford to stop working. We're locked in a permanent cycle where the capital of the few is directly sustained by the mandatory, ongoing wages of the many. 4. The answer: the working class. So who is actually doing all the heavy lifting? The answer is staring right back at us from behind a counter or a steering wheel. The entire modern dream of passive income is subsidized entirely by the working class. Passive income is not some magical glitch in the matrix where money just breeds more money in a vacuum. It is simply a financial mechanism for extracting value from the active, ongoing labor of wage earners. When you successfully build an automated income stream, you have not actually eliminated work. You have just outsourced the grind to someone whose economic reality gives them absolutely no leverage to say no. Look at the stock market, the ultimate holy grail of hands-off wealth. Right now, according to the Federal Reserve, about 89% of all United States stocks are owned by the wealthiest 10% of Americans. This means the vast majority of those sweet dividend payouts are flowing directly upward, while the actual physical and mental exhaustion required to generate those profits is pushed downward onto everyday employees. We are watching an entire generation burn out chasing this phantom. Over 50% of Generation Z and Millennials report having a side hustle today. But let's be brutally honest here. Most of these hustles are intensely active second jobs, desperately mislabeled as passive income just to sell an aesthetic on social media. The ultimate irony is that, if everyone actually achieved the passive dream, the entire system would instantly shatter. A society cannot survive if everyone is an investor and nobody is a worker. We desperately need nurses, teachers, plumbers, and farmers to keep the lights on. Yet our current financial culture treats doing those vital, active jobs like a personal failure you need to escape. We are actively devaluing the exact labor that makes the passive economy possible in the first place. Passive income is real, but it is a luxury built entirely on the backs of active exhaustion. Until we stop pretending that capital creates value out of thin air, we will just keep running on a treadmill. If this reality check made you rethink your feed, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Hazel out.